to attend to another meeting, kaya our Chief of the Technology Diffusion Division will be reading his message on his behalf. We have Ms. Lina Villafabio.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, maraming salamat po for coming in spite of hindi masyado, ayoko naman sabihin maganda, but hindi favorable na panahon for us. Kahit maulan ay you'll be able to attend to this event. So, it's always great po to see familiar faces and new ones, especially from the media who have consistently supported us over the years. So, Ma'am Beth, maraming salamat for coming. So, welcome to the Metals and Engineering Week 2025 press conference. So, this coming Monday po, on June 16, marks the official start of our Metals and Engineering Week celebration. So, and let me just say, we're very excited about what's in store for all of us. So, the week-long celebration is all about highlighting the importance of the metals and engineering industries in nation building and, more importantly, showing how we're gearing up for the future. So this year's theme centers on the Industry 4.0, a big leap forward in digital transformation, smart technologies, and sustainable industrial practices. And we know these aren't just buzzwords. So these are real changes that affects jobs, businesses, and how we build and grow as a country. So we have lined up a series of events that bring those ideas to life. There will be skills competitions, webinars, open house of the center's facilities, the National Metals and Engineering Conference, and the much-awaited Metals and Engineering Industry Forum at Acacia Hotel. So it's going to be a full and exciting week ahead. So we're proud of the partnerships that have been come together to make this possible. So from government to industry to academia, and of course, you, our partners in the media, who help bring these stories as a wider and broader audience. Today is about sharing what we have been working on, where we're headed, and how we hope to move the industry and the entire country as well. So once again, thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to a lively and meaningful discussion, and we hope the stories and insights shared today will inspire you and perhaps even be featured on your respective media platforms. So again, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Ayan na lang yung OST before. And very active siya ngayon sa ating media. We also like to say good morning to our Deputy Executive Director for R&D, Dr. Agustin Fudoli. We also have ang mga kasama po dito sa MIRDC, the 4 program team, sila Doc Jason at Doc Pauso, nandito rin. And the information promotion section po, and our partners sa industry who will be also giving us a glimpse about their updates sa Industry 4.0 technology sa sarili nilang industriya. Okay, now that we have settled, I would like to take this time, especially our media friends, to really ask ourselves, paano tayo naapektuhan ng Industry 4.0 technology sa ating buhay pang-araw-araw? I would like to ask you guys sa ating table dito sa harap, kayo po ba ay nagsha-Shopee, Lazada, nagsa-TikTok? Ayan, kasi Industry 4.0 is really here. Yun ang parati namin sinasabi sa aming mga engagements, lalo na sa industry, sa general public, na hindi na lang siya isang konsepto. Nandito na po tayo. So, na-experience din po ba, ma'am, na sa Shopee, may search lang kayo na isang item, biglang makikita niyo na siya sa Facebook account nyo, may ads na doon na about that same item, binibentahan na kayo. And then also when you order from Shopee or Lazada, nakikita nyo agad na, ay, dadating na in 3 days yung delivery ko, yung item ko. That is on Industry 4.0 applications. Kaya everyday po na-experience na natin. So that's just one example. Kaya doon po pumapasok ang sinasabi natin Internet of Things. Yan po na-apektuhan na tayo sa pang-araw-araw. Now, to kick off our presentations at nalaman na natin a small concept of how Industry 4.0 is affecting us, let us hear naman the MIRDC's perspective on the adoption ng Industry 4.0 technologies dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. I would like to call on Dr. Jason Rogelio, our career scientist too at the Quattro Program Center.
Isang malamig na bago po sa inyong lahat, and thank you for coming to our press conference to our incoming medals in Engineering Week 2025. So, sabi nga ni Ms. Kyle, the Industry 4.0 is already here in the Philippines, hindi pa lang natin na-realize. Give me a short time to discuss you ano ba yung perspective ng MIRDC when it comes to the adoption of Industry 4.0 in the Philippines. So, and then, but by the way, ano ba yung tinatawag natin Industry 4.0? So, in a technical term, so this refers to the fourth industrial revolution, the integration of smart technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, big data, and automation into manufacturing industrial system. So, and nasaan ba ngayon ang ating bansa pagdating sa Industry 4.0 adoption? So, kung ikukumpara natin ang ating bansa sa Industry 4.0 adoption sa ating kapitbahay ng mga bansa like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, medyo nauhuli na po tayo. We are fall behind with them. For instance, Singapore has smart factories and the robust AI policies. Sa Pilipinas po, wala pa tayong policy on how to use a proper use of artificial intelligence. And then wala pa rin tayo dun sa, may nag-push sa amin ng Industry 4.0 like the DTI, pero minsan more on initial lang. So hindi natutuloy-tuloy. Okay, another one is the case of the Vietnam as an integrated the IoT in their manufacturing. For instance, sa car parts manufacturing, wherein nakakonekta lang kanilang manufacturing sa buong global supply chain. So nalalaman nila doon if the parts already nandyan or may supply pa ba na napuproduce. We also have Malaysia launched its national policy on Industry 4.0 as early as 2018. So, and my experience also when I'm being in Taiwan, also yung isa sa mga director ng education system nila. So they already implement Industry 4.0 sa kanilang curriculum pagdating sa education system nila. Okay? So, but to bridge this gap, syempre, meron namang ginagawa tayo dito, especially the DMS MIRDC. No? We actually started this one last 2019. We call it Miriam. Yung tinatawag natin Advanced Mechatronics, Robotics, and Industrial Laboratory in the Philippines. So, bakit ba kailangan natin Industry 4.0? So, Industry 4.0 brings a wide range of benefits that are transforming the manufacturing sector. And let's take a look at the most impactful ones. For instance, improve productivity and efficiency. In a simple terms, Industry 4.0 technologies enable you to do more with less. In other words, increasing the throughput while allocating resources more cost-effective and efficiently. It also optimizes supply chain management. With the Industry 4.0 technologies, you will have a better visibility across your entire supply chain. Your supply chain will also become better connected, enabling real-time monitoring. For instance, yung sabi nga ng Sky kanina, kung Shopee kayo, malalaman lang kung mayroon pa bang supply or wala na isang items. And then also, pinupunta kayo sa Facebook na makita niyo yung mga news yung fed nyo doon na pinapakita niyo yung interest nyo, kung nasa yung product interest nyo. So, it also empower people. With Industry 4.0 technologies, your people will have access to better data to to give them enhanced oversight as well as the ability to take data-driven decisions. Another one is the increased knowledge sharing and collaborative working. Industry 4.0 technologies allowing production lines, business process, and departments to communicate regardless of location and the time zone. Last is the flexibility and agility. It is easier to scale production up or down. It is also easier to introduce new products to the production line as well. The AMIRIA, or the Advanced Mechatronics and Robotics and Industrial Automation Laboratory Project of the DOST MIIC was established to support the technological advancement, workforce improvement, and competitiveness of the metals and engineering industries. It also aims to increase the manufacturing industry productivity and raise the country's awareness of Industry 4.0 and its benefits. During the duration of the project, the team conducted assessments to MSMEs in the country. There are 262 companies from different regions listed by the AMIRIA team. Most of the companies listed are engaged in food processing and fabrication businesses, some work into agriculture. Most of them have processes predominantly executed by human with assistance of equipment, machinery, and computer-based system. This process falls under the basic level of the shop floor automation according to the SMART Index, Readiness Index, or the SIRI. This SIRI assessment was used as a guide in determining the level of shop floor of the MSME. With these observations in the shop floor, the team has recommended a proposal on how MSMEs can improve their productivity. Through the use of more advanced technologies, most proposals fall under 2.0 and a 3.0 proposal, such as the PLCs, HMIs, sensors, and automated equipment are recommended to be adopted for use by the SMEs to increase productivity and reduce high labor costs. However, the team encountered low adoption of this proposed solution. Out of 222 proposals generated, only 5% were implemented by the listed firms. The adoption of Industry 4.0 technologies in the manufacturing sector has been slow, with most local MSMEs not yet reaching Industry 4.0 readiness. While large multinational companies are adopting these technologies in fragmented cases, highlighting the need of stronger government intervention, research collaboration, and support to accelerate widespread implementation. The white paper entitled Digital Transformation: The Way Forward provides a more detailed discussions on the assessment of MSMEs. Here, the barriers for technology upgrading was identified. There is a gap when it comes to financial, technical, and competency. Most of the SMEs are concerned in terms of their financial capability to upgrade for automated equipment. They are hesitant to replace their current machines with more advanced because of production capacity. Also, technical capability and competency are seen as a concern. There are limited access to available technologies, and there is a lack of skilled workers to operate and maintain new automated systems. They are also lack training and support. Thus, we are trying to engage more collaborative R&D and training to mainstream automation and robotics to MSMEs. The AMIRIA was initiated to establish a hub for the research and development related to automated technologies for the benefits of the metals and engineering industries. We have ongoing projects that are related to advanced technologies such as the Kabuti. This is a greenhouse for the production of the mushrooms, and the hatch that controls the growing of the bangus fry. We also have MI Fry Counter and ASCA that uses computer vision for counting and calibration. Aside from this, we are developing an automated machines for the banana leaf seeding, pellet stratify, and the Cobra project. As these projects are being mainstream, there is a clear need for centralized collaborative platform to support the advancement of Industry 4.0 that is accessible to the public and can leverage R&D outputs and technology accessibility for widespread implementation. More than just a facility, AMIRIA will become a symbol of possibility, empowering engineers, students, and manufacturers to engage directly with the technologies of the future. Through functional, the Amirial facility laid the groundwork for something broader, a more advanced infrastructure and technological capability required to conduct cutting-edge research and facilitate meaningful collaborations towards smart manufacturing. We need more concerted effort to promote adoption of Industry 4.0. That's why, for this year, we are launching the Quattro program that we will discuss by another speaker with Dr. Kauso. So thank you for listening.
Maraming salamat po. Doc Jason Aurelio, ating scientist too. Before we proceed to Doc Kauso, I would like to ask our media to baka may naiisip na kayo mga itatanong for our speakers mamaya. Kasi I know Industry 4.0 is not just a concept, yun yung point out natin ngayon. Pero kung may mga tanong po kayo, lalo pa nandito yung experts natin, please keep note lang. Tapos we will have our Q&A mamaya. We will have time for that. Grabe yung sinabi ni Doc Jason kanina, no? Medyo eye-opener. Behind na talaga tayo ang Philippines sa Industry 4.0 technologies versus our neighboring countries. Kitang-kita din po natin na marami pa tayo kailangang habulin, lalo na sa aspect ng ating local industries. Kaya may mga bisita din po tayo ngayon from our industry partners para makikita natin how we can help them and how DOST MIRDC is here to assist them din po. And yun ang magiging laman ng ating MNE Week celebration. To help us understand naman how DOST will address these technological needs, we have invited one of our experts sa Industry 4.0 technology. Let's hear about the milestones in digital transformation through the Quattro program from Dr. Albert Kauso, our DOST Balik Scientist.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Bago ko po ituloy yung kwento ko sa mga tulong, kung ano oras ako? 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes lang. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. The Quattro program, or Connected Unified Autonomous Technologies with Robotics and Automation, really is, the name itself is an homage to Industry 4.0. We wanted to show that there are technologies already available in the market, or there are technologies that can still be developed that will address the needs of the market. So, just a recap, the Industry 4.0 technologies, marami po yan. Ano yung mga yan? Robotics and automation, digital twins or software side, cloud computing, data analytics where AI comes in, augmented reality, additive manufacturing, at marami pang iba, IoT. Yan yung mga common technologies. These technologies are already available. You can already see them. Okay, they have been present since for the last 2 decades already. But as Dr. Jason has pointed out, our industry are really behind. The country itself is behind. That doesn't mean that you will not see Industry 4.0 by the way in the Philippines. Semicon industry are way ahead of everybody else in terms of adoption. But our MSMEs, those in food manufacturing, those in agriculture, and even our small-scale manufacturing at the metals industries, ilan pa rin lang po sa kanila ang may robot na nag-welding, ilan lang ang may IoT yung machine. So, this unevenness creates a problem, but also an opportunity for us. I always see inefficiencies as business opportunities. And this is what we wanted to do. Just, Doc Jason actually in one of the slides showed what are the benefits of the technologies, or adaptive technologies. But I wanted to point out one single idea. All of those benefits, when you total them up, come up with one thing, which is we want our companies to grow. We want them to have better market access. They can only have better market access if the quality of the product is better, if their price is cheaper, if they have better logistics support. This can only happen if they are adapting the technology to its fullest. Okay? It's difficult to measure quality without sensors, without data analytics. It's difficult to have better quality if you don't have automation, power, etc., etc. So the whole goal of Industry 4.0 is not adoption of technology per se, but rather to help these companies grow. Okay? So the OSM RDC conceptualized the PATRO program to promote Industry 4.0. With the perspective that we want these companies to grow, we looked at what is the typical journey of Juan, which is a company, an MSME, for example, in the Philippines. Usually they will approach government agencies and say, we need help. Okay, we're suffering from this and that problem. A lot of this, sizing ng pandesal, issue yan. Nawawalan ng mga equipment, nawawalan ng mga produkto, pilferage, or nasasayang diba? Or shelf life ng product. Imbes na pwede i-export dahil 2 days lang yung shelf life, hanggang dyan lang sa kanto pwede i-benta. So there are a lot of things, you know. But the thing that we realized so far is, which creates the evenness of the deployment of Industry 4.0 is, these clients normally do not tell you the full story. You would think that they need the technology, but in fact, they need something else. Okay, na-experience nyo ba yan? Nasasabi na one problem, yung pala nakasunod pa na problema yun. Okay? So ano po example niya? When we launched the PATRO, we have 2 ideas. First, we want to have a smart manufacturing hub. Okay? It will take on the name of Amerian, we will continue that name. And this smart manufacturing hub will showcase technologies. And then, of course, the more important part is an ecosystem development. So 2 parts po yung PATRO. So yung first part natin ay magtayo ng facility for smart manufacturing. Warning nga, may fine print sa ilalim niya na rendition only created by ChatGPT. Okay? This picture is created by ChatGPT. Okay? Yung totoong magiging itsura nito would be the next door building that we will be renovating later. Okay? But the idea is this facility, the house and the place for companies, suppliers, vendors, academics to come together and think through problems. Paano mo bayadan ng technology and ng technology? So kailangan ng physical reality for this to happen. This is what is the purpose of Amerial will be, or the improved Amerial. Now, the second part of the ecosystem, how will that go? Remember, we start with the client journey, remember? And client journey has to be taken care of by people who knows both the technology and the business side. The people we are talking to are not just looking for a solution. They are looking for a solution that is financially viable, okay, and business-wise correct. So the people who has to talk to them should triage their problem and figure out ano ba yun, and be able to suggest solution or offer the solution that makes sense to them commercially. Importante yung business side nito, technology adoption na ito, kasi without understanding the business side, then it's just a futile exercise and academic exercise. Now, for example, triage can say, oh, maybe you just need an expert. You have the equipment, you have the manpower, but you need advice on how to improve your processes. We can find experts in the OST, we can find experts externally, maybe sa mga universities natin. Okay, if we need it, maybe we can source the expert from overseas. The important thing is, sometimes companies do not need the actual technology. They just need somebody to advise them what to do, hand-on-hand mentoring. We can help with that. Or maybe, kailangan na nila talaga mag-R&D. Kasi the solution they're looking for their problems is not technology available in the market. They need to do an R&D. Dito lang po papapasok si DOST to conduct the POC, proof of concept. Or pwede rin si university kapag mas malalim yung R&D ng pangangailangan sa kanila na ipasa. And we want our universities to be active generators of Industry 4.0 technologies, right? So we develop our own technologies in the Philippines. So they can only do that if they have the opportunity. Therefore, get the problem statement from the clients, we solve it. Or maybe, wala nang R&D na kailangan kasi available na sa market yung solution. Then we direct them to system integrators, to vendors who can help. Not everything has to be solved by the OST. Minsan, kailangan nila bumili ng part. Yung tanong nila about quality improvement, yung parang may sira lang sa machine, hindi nila mapagana, kaya nasisiraan sila. Okay, fine. Yung pala kailangan lang nila ng motor, person nila hahanapin. Minsan, because of the nature of our country, yung supplier lahat nasa NCR, pero yung unit nasa Mindanao. So ano gagawin natin dyan? They need to find each other. Hopefully, Quattro can help with that. Or minsan training, may equipment na, may expertise na, pero sir, mataas ang turnover rate namin. This is a common problem of our MSMEs. So what do we need? We need to work together on the training. TESDA, we're already reaching out to them. We're reaching out to check them and to make sure that the curriculums are aligned to the needs of the industry in terms of adopting this technology. We cannot just keep pushing the technology if there are no people who will be using them. So we need the training. Maybe MIRDC, USC can provide the training for high-level ones, but mostly we need to make sure that there is a continuous training available coming from the other government agencies, universities, and private institutions. Then, licensing. Ito critical. Sometimes the problems we see are problems that DOST or some other researchers have solved 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Why do we need to invest more money into it if the problem has already been solved? At may lisensya na, may intellectual property na. One way for us to keep innovating is to honor those projects that has already generated intellectual property. We ask them to be licensed back. This shortens the transition from laboratories to the market, encouraging our researchers to continue outputting good technologies and at the same time, solving the problem of their clients. So dito mga ipapasok ang Technology Transfers Office ng DOST and other institutions. Then, assessment and survey, po kailangan. We have already heard what problems where companies like to invest hundreds of billions of pesos for a new factory or production line. But they need incentives. So saan papasok yung incentive? Galing sa government agency like DTI or BOI. Pero hindi ma-certify yung project for incentive kasi hindi naiintindihan ano yung Industry 4.0 technologies. Somebody needs to say, these are Industry 4.0 technologies, they are qualified. Okay? You should be able to support them. Hindi lang yun, posible kasi na yung company na yun, pag binigyan ng incentive, baka naman hindi maging successful kasi wala pa ng tao, wala pa ng expert, etc. It's a maraming factor. So in short, we want the Quattro program through our partners, through MIRDC, to be able to attest, okay, this company is good to go, give them all the support we needs. Okay, this certification not just at the company level, but also at the personal level. But remember, DOST cannot solve everything, right? And the number one problem MSME say when it comes to technology is money. DOST itself has several grants katulad ng setup para sa mga companies ba. Some of you are probably familiar with zero interest loan for 5 years with payment holiday. It's a very good deal, but it has also limitations. And sometimes other government agencies are willing to provide the grant or the support. We have to direct it to them. Maybe the issue is policy, that within the OST's capability. We have to direct them. So we want, once we triage all of this, we want to direct them where help can be found. And frustrations ng MSMEs natin is, sir, hindi naman ako tinutulungan ng government. We want to stop hearing that. We need to stop hearing that by directing them to where help can be found. Maybe not from us directly, but from some other government agency. And as Julie pointed before, a lot of this requires education. Okay? A lot of company owners just not know na, existing na pala yung technology na yan. Posible pala yan. Ginagawa na pala yung company na to. Maybe I can borrow, maybe I can learn, and maybe I can help adapt. So one of the big responsibilities of the Quattro program through the MIRDC communications team is actually to create all these learning opportunities, networking, conferences, roadshows, tech showcase, basically keep talking about Industry 4.0. So we have started the building the ecosystem and the building renovation, we've already started working on it as well. But we need to onboard people, not just the clients, okay? Not just the clients, but also suppliers, vendors, researchers, meaning universities, private entities. This is an ecosystem problem, industry technology encompasses the whole of society, we have to move together as a single entity. That's it. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po, Doc Causo. More of that later, lalo na pag nagsimula po magtanong ang ating media partners, nakikita ko nagtanong na sila kanina nung nagpe-present si Doc Causo. Parang ready na po kayo, Doc, sa mga Q&A natin mamaya. Okay, thank you po, Doc Albert. And ito pong M&E presser natin is patikim pa lang to sa mga mangyayari sa ating M&E Week celebration. That's why yung presentations nila, Doc Jason and Doc Albert, even yung presentations ng ating industry associations later, is just a short presentation of what we will be presented during the forum and the conference. Nabanggit din ni Doc Causo kanina na it's an ecosystem. Kaya ang M&E Week celebration natin, aside from the industry forum, we have the skills competition, we have the conference that's meant for our academe, to our universities para sa ating state colleges. Kasi hindi lang po natatapos sa technology upgrading, meron din po yung kailangan natin improve on skills, even yung leadership, kailangan ma-update ang management ng ating firms kung ano na ba ang teknolohiya na available sa atin. And now, how about we ask the question para sa MIRDC, especially sa DOST, paano ang mga industriya natin? It's important that we know yung status ng ating industries. And MIRDC has partners from the metals and engineering and allied industries na mag-update sa atin. Every year, ginagawa natin ito para maging aware din kami sa DOST kung ano ang status ng ating industriya. So we would like to call on our first presenter, the Aerospace Industries Association of the Philippines, si Engineer Wilfredo Estoque.
To our friends from MIRDC and also our friends from the media, good morning to everyone. So I made a presentation here on the subject, and I just want to share this with you. This is something that we will be presenting also on the 20th, or the last day for M&E Week. Okay? So, just to, I'll be talking a bit about history. We elders always want to talk about history, about age, about what this brings to the present, what history brings to the present. But Industry 1.0, we've been talking about industry revolutions. Okay, the first industry revolution was what we call 1.0, and this was mid-18th century. This is the rise of mechanization. If you remember, most of the businesses, most of the processes that we employed before were all agri-based, until somebody invented a wheel, and somebody invented rollers and so forth, which started mechanization. And Industry 1.0, we will characterize that. This is the rise of mechanization, and characterized by the invention of steam power, where we are getting reciprocating motion of steam, okay, heated water, and then some machines that were made, earlier machines were the power loom, yung mga textile. I saw some machines working on this still up to this point. And so those were the early progression of technological advancement. And then Industry 2.0, which is the late 19th century, 1950s and so forth, where we started learning how to use oil and fuel and transform this into electric power. Okay, and that was the advent of all of the processes, or most of the processes that we see in mass production in assembly lines. And then large-scale industries, including the automobile. I was part of an automobile industry before, and we were making transmissions for General Motors cars. And I've seen some of these developments that happened and transpired during that time. Now, Industry 3.0 is the mid-20th century. This is the 1970s now. The digital revolution. It talks of computers, internet. It talks of automation powered by electronics and information technology. Renewable energy, yung mga solar, at saka yung mga wave power and so forth. Increased efficiency and productivity in manufacturing. So those are the artifacts of the Industry 3.0. Okay? I remember during that time, when I took the licensure exam in the 1970s, engineering was purely making use of slide rules in order to compute for something. Okay? And then came yung mga computer, yung ating mga calculator is a form of a computer. No? And during the licensure exam, 1975, because nasanay ako doon sa slide rule, no? I was hesitant to use the calculator. So I brought with me the examination room 2, yung slide rule ko, pagkatapos yung aking calculator. And then I always use a slide rule, and yun ang answer ko. And to check my answer if it's right, I use the calculator. Ginagamit ko, check yun. And that was probably a transition I have experienced during that time. No? Yung transformation of digital technology. A calculator is digital technology. A slide rule is a slide rule. Para ruler lang yun. Okay, so, now Industry 4.0, okay, the present, and I just want to place the 2010 onwards. This is now characterized by the fusion of all inventions and innovations and technologies that were discovered in the past. Sinama ng lahat yung one. And then, artificial intelligence, yung Internet of Things, data analytics, robotics, as been discussed previously. And this is what we call now the transformation of digital revolution. The smart factories, yung mga factories na nagsasabing using the internet, using electronic programs, interconnected systems, data-driven decision making, smart manufacturing machines, storage systems, cloud, and cognitive computing. Now, yung cloud, parang ito yung repository of all information that are taken in by computers, and then yung cognitive computing is recognizing the relevance of all those data as applied to some specific things that you want to do with software. Okay? Now, there is also what we call Industry 5.0. Wala pa nga tayo sa 4.0, o meron hindi nandun na. Pero meron pa rin 5.0. This is now the future. And the 5.0 is the upgrade of what we innovate and what we have in Industry 4.0 with newer technologies. And yung customers ngayon can customize. Now, for instance, if I'm a factory producing this much, yung mga customer ko can interface with my electronic system, my communication system, and say, hey, nagbago yung yung demand namin, nagbago yung mga modelo, ito na yung mga design, and these are the standard times that we are getting out of this. And how can your factory respond to these changes? So yun yung 5.0, that is the technology of the future with less human intervention. Okay? Now, in terms of progress of factory management concepts, scientific analysis, emphasis on efficiency. There is one best way to do a thing, to manufacture a thing, one best way. So, bine-metodize yan, it is standardized, it is specialized. Division of labor, na nauso yung management thinking. Hatiin natin, sila gumagawa ng baso, sila naman gumagawa ng plato, sila naman gumagawa ng whatever it is. And then we assemble all of these things together to get a set of kitchenware or something. Okay? Selection, training. So they recognize the importance of that. Motivation through incentives, workers, and a lot of management harmony that works, that should interface with with sciences or with the technologies that have been developed at that time. Okay? Then other management concepts, yung CI, continuous improvement, Kaizen, puro systems, you probably heard about these things. Kanban, quality productivity circles. Yung quality circles, we form together a team in order to improve something in our plant. And then zero defect, Six Sigma, statistical process control, SPC. These are now the management concepts that have evolved over time. Okay? Now, the state of the industry, I shouldn't say simply within the aerospace industry. No? Tingin ko sa lahat ito, this applies even to our colleagues in the Metal Industry Association and the other industry associations as well. Tier 1 companies are demonstrating already practices relevant to Industry 4.0 as we described it. For instance, in a factory plant, company I worked for before for about 30-35 years. They have what they call their ERP, MRP, CRP systems. Okay, enterprise review plan, material review plan, and then yung capacity review plan. In the past, what we would do with this is do a manual calculation of everything in order to, anong size ng factory gagawin natin? We were to make about 3,000 sabihin mo ng transmissions per year. Now, everything will be calculated on the basis of assumptions that you make. Okay? Ano yung processes that will be involved in producing a speed gear number 1 or a speed gear number 2, 3, 4, a casing number 1, a housing number 2, and so forth and so on. All of these are done very manually. If we do not have any software that we can use in order to generate outputs, okay? And so the ERP MRP system will be able to generate that for you. And we have this software, all we have to do is make an input of how much we want to produce. This is the factory that you need. Size as big as this, machines with this type of specifications, and materials that you will be needing on a monthly basis. Okay? Electronic linkage of central factories to global subsidiaries. Now, we all know that there are a lot of global companies right now who are relocating here. Now, for all we know, we are part of a big ERP system that they have. Okay, so that whatever we do in our factory is something that they do there. And whatever they want to inject into their demand is something that we know so that we can react accordingly. Like how much do we buy for materials, and how much do we need for training, and how much fluctuation do we see in manpower demand. Electronic linkage of central factories, productivity, quality versus standards, electronic monitoring per line or per machine, which means, this process is doing good, this process is doing bad. Why? Because of this information, and then we react to it, like people that we need to train or machines that we need to upgrade. Historical, corrective, and preventive maintenance schedules and activities. Okay? So that's part of it too. Ano yung mga nasisira sa mga makina? Do we need to replace the machine already or not yet? Or do we need to do some repair this machine? Materials and parts inventory control and reordering decisions. Okay. If this is the inventory material we have, will that suffice for the time that we spend up to now, and then gets consumed, and how much do we order, and what is the ordering point and at what time? Human resource training, development, and sourcing. These are already, as I mentioned, tier 1 companies demonstrated in the Industry 4.0 practices. Itong mga manpower na to are people who have been trained on this. So we can tap them to do services on these types of services for each of the processes that we employ. Okay. Now, the 2 and 3 companies, people who are supplying to the tier 1s, are demonstrating on only partial Industry 4.0, but mostly adhering to Industry 3.0 due to the nature of the product lines. Kung ang sinusupply nila very limited products, then of course, demand for Industry 4.0, perhaps investment to 4.0 is bigger than the profits that they have because of very limited exposure. Okay? Now, low-tech, high-tech versus high-tech. Nothing wrong with all of those 3. If your business says, I'm making a profit out of this low-tech environment, that's fine. Okay? Of course, there's also the high-tech environment. Ideally, you should be having this so that you are gaining, you gain the merits of a more profitable operation. Okay? But of course, for owners of companies, they are always looking at what they think is the right technology. Okay? I probably need only 3.0 for this aspect, but I may need 4.0 for this aspect of my operation. Okay? So it's really up to these owners what they think in terms of the right technology environment they wish for their own individual companies. Now, how can government help? Grow foreign investments related to commercial aerospace and allied industries through competitive incentive packages to generate growth and development of a local supply chain. If there is a need because of bigger demand up there, then we grow these businesses altogether, and the opportunities will be created because of that. Possible subsidies of expensive certification requirements for aerospace industries. Now, I'm talking of aerospace industry here because the certification requirements are quite stringent. Okay, and then subsidies on regular advertising of local aerospace industry manufacturing and MRO capabilities through local trade fairs, Aeromart events, and then manufacturers exhibition. Okay? So before I end, there's a lot of things that we can gain out of what we call artificial intelligence, which is actually the hallmark of digital transformation. Okay, but as always, human intelligence is best. Okay, because human intelligence determines what is morally upright and what is fit for our own emotional requirements for ourselves. Okay, so artificial intelligence, but we are more intelligent than artificial intelligence. That ends my presentation.
Thank you, Engineer Escobar. Ayan, patikim pa lang po yun. Kaya, abangan niyo po ang mga susunod na mangyayari sa ating MLE celebration. Our next presenter, we have Mia for the Metalworking Industries Association of the Philippines. To present, we have Engineer Martin Osano Jr.
Agustin Kudulig, Deputy Executive Director for R&D, Engineer Romain Titris Valles, Director, Ms. Lina Iafakli, Chief Technology Diffusion Division, Dr. Jason Piro Elio, Career Scientist 2, Dr. Robert Halso, DOST Balik Scientist, Engineer Willie Stoke, Executive Director AIAP, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The title of my presentation is MIAP's Digital Transformation Journey. The Metalworking Industries Association of the Philippines, or MIAP, which was established in 1978, has played a vital role in driving the country's shift toward 4.0 from 3.0 in collaboration with DOST in MRDC and global partners such as BOM of Netherlands. MIAP supports the local manufacturers in advancing automation, precision machining, and digital manufacturing capabilities. This is through sustained efforts in innovation, skills development, and industry collaboration. MIAP continues to elevate the Philippine metalworking industry and strengthen its global competitiveness. MIAP continues to strengthen its relationship to its members all over the regions by holding online meetings and visitations. These MIAP members are mostly businessmen and entrepreneurs engaged in metal fabrications. Particularly, the Negros Occidental chapter maintains a good relationship to our academic members, the Technological University of the Philippines, Visayas, under the leadership of Director Engineer Eric Maloy, and the Don Bosco Technical Institute in Victoria City Training Center, under the leadership of Engineer Pancho. In preparation to the Industry 4.0, TUP Visayas in the City, Negros Occidental has this Metals Engineering Innovation Center, the MEIC, in partnership with the Department of Science and Technology. It is a facility that will promote regional innovation, which focus on research and development. It provides prototyping and fabrication facilities. Last year, May 16, 2024, MIAP held the 32nd MIAP National Convention, General Membership Assembly and elections of the new set of officers and Board of Trustees at the IEC Convention Center in Cebu City. The active officers of the National Board held meetings every quarter in General Santos City, hosted by the General Santos Chapter, Metro Manila, hosted by the Metro Manila Chapter, Davao City, hosted by the Davao City Chapter, and also in TUP Visayas in Talisay City, Negros Occidental. After the meeting in TUP Visayas, MIAC national officers paid a courtesy call to our Governor Eugenio C. Lacson of Negros Occidental. The purpose of our visit was to introduce our MIAC Association and promote the locally made machines and equipment invented by our local engineers and designers. And also the most important is the MIAC's drive to Industry 4.0. What is our drive as MIAC? Our drive this year towards the Industry 4.0 is one, is the drone technology. Specifically for the farm fertilizer applications. We are now using this farm drone applications in the sugarcane farms in Negros Occidental. Number two is the facilities upgrading. This is the acquisition of CNC machines. Some of the machine shops owned by our members have acquired already the computerized numerical control machines or the CNC using the laser cutting technology. And also we use this, we call this Masak CNC, and the other one is the other. There are so many brands in the CNC machines. This is for upgrading of the machine shop per se. Another one is training. In line with these acquisitions of this machine, we have trainings on CNC and also the information security. This is the most important technology today. This is the information security. One is phishing, number two is malware, number three is social engineering, and another one is password security, data privacy, mobile device security, social media use, and the internet and email use. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my presentation, and thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Osana Jr. That's from the MIAC po. Next, we have the Mechatronics and Robotics Society of the Philippines. We would like to call on Dr. James Bernardo Itaw from MRSP.
Hello, good morning. Actually, we prepared the video, so please direct your attention to the screen first. Okay, thank you.
Mechatronics and Robotics Society of the Philippines, or MRSP, a dynamic force driving innovation in mechatronics and robotics technology across the nation. Let's dive into who we are, our journey, and our vision for the future. MRSP is a vital community dedicated to advancing mechatronics and robotics for research, development, and knowledge sharing. By integrating mechanical, electrical, electronics, and computing technologies, we create automated and intelligent machines. Our multi-level membership brings together professionals, students, and industry partners to foster innovation and expertise. Founded in 2006, MRSP has grown significantly, forging key partnerships and achieving milestones. From 2006 to 2014, we partnered with Tesla to develop national certifications for mechatronics and industry automation levels 2, 3, and 4, and collaborated with Duos TMI-RDC to advance metal and engineering industries. Between 2015 and 2018, we launched Project Amirio with Duos TMI-RDC and Project Mojave with the Philippine Navy. From 2019 to 2024, the MRSP joined the Global Robotics Cluster, represented the manufacturing sector of the National Capital Region, and initiated the IoT Laboratory and Project Cobra for the Philippine Army and DOST. Our goals are clear: strengthen industry, academia, and government collaboration, boost research, innovation, and technology adoption, enhance education, skills development, and certification, support companies in achieving sustainable and scalable growth, and expand MRSP's influence in global engagement. Looking ahead to 2025 to 2026, MRSP is set to launch the MRSP Innovation Hub, establish a certification and training program, organize the annual Sustainability and Smart Robotics Conference, implement the Sustainability Accelerator program, and advocate for robotics and automation policy reforms to shape the future of the Philippines. With 15 active chapters across regions like Batangas, Cebu, NCR, and more, MRSP unites 2,815 professional members, 2,658 student members, 100 industry partners, and 65 lifetime members, creating a robust network for innovation and collaboration. Project Miriam, launched in 2019 with DOST-MIRDC, established the Advanced Mechatronics, Robotics, and Industrial Automation Laboratory. This initiative supports the metals and engineering industry, driving cutting-edge research and development. Project Bahama, completed in 2022 with the Philippine Navy and DOST-MIRDC, delivered a fully automated remote weapon station with a .50 caliber machine gun. Turned over during the Navy's 124th anniversary, it showcases MRSP's commitment to national defense innovation. Project Cobra, an ongoing collaboration with the Philippine Army and DOST-MIRDC, develops a .50 caliber remote control weapon station for armored vehicles. Signed in 2022, this project addresses reliance on imported equipment and enhances military modernization. On June 18, 2024, the 7th MRSP National Skills Competition, held during MIRDC's MMUB, showcased the talents of students and professionals in automation and robotics. Top competitors were honored, inspiring the next generation of Filipino innovators. In a world rapidly evolving through innovation, the Philippines steps forward with bold vision and brilliance. Unlocking the future of automation and defense with advanced mechatronics. Join Dr. James Bernard C. Itaú as he unveils groundbreaking advancements in mechatronics, robotics, and intelligent systems. From smart factories and autonomous systems, to national defense breakthroughs like Project Mohali and Cobra. These are technologies reshaping industries and protecting our future. Explore the frontier of hyperautomation, swarm robotics, and digital twins, powered by Filipino ingenuity. Where global collaboration meets local excellence. Be part of the movement. Shape the future with us.
Okay, again, good morning. So it's an honor to present in behalf of our National President, Dr. Arvin de la Cruz. I am James Bernard Itaú, the VP for Mechatronics and Robotics side of the Philippines. If you have noticed in our video presentation, it was founded in 2006. So next year will be our 20th year. So for that span of time, we had numerous projects already with government agencies. First, it was mentioned that we have a partnership with TESDA. If you look at the training regulations of TESDA, the name of MRSP, Mechatronics and Robotics side of the Philippines is there actually. So we finished the NC2, NC3, NC4. I believe that's one of the few who has until NC4. So, with regards to the concern which was mentioned by Dr. Jason a while ago, no, yung turnover ratio, it's actually very true. Kasi, just to share, I'm actually an OJT way back here sa 2012 nung dito sa DOST MRDC. So, OJT po ako dito. So, napansin ko yung changes ng buong facilities na we are actually looking forward to Industry 4.0 adoption, di ba? And honestly, it wasn't really a leap naman just to commend DOST MRDC because we have projects actually which really help our nation. So, ang target ng DOST MRDC is to help the issues and concerns of our nation, of course. So, addressing din yung concern ni Welig Scientist Doc also, na actually, our industry can keep up, but not all. So, we really have to address that. So, but you also have to consider the economics of business as well. Just to share, it was mentioned as well kanina, yung Project Buhawi, na it was finished already, yung prototype, and it is version 1. So just imagine, if you look at just internet lang, check nyo lang, how much are the remote weapons? It's actually millions of dollars. So just imagine, if it is Filipino made, it's our target eh. We produce, we manufacture our own. It's a plus. Ang sarap sa feeling na we produce our own. So that's one of the project we had with MRDC in partnership with MRSP. So yung Buhawi, it's now on its mass production. So it's really a happy experience na we were able to help it, and nakakatawa kasi it's a Filipino-made product wherein usually ang alam naman natin na we just import products for defense and those cost millions of dollars. And ang maganda na it's Philippine-made. So in behalf of MRSP, we look forward to have more projects with MRDC, and we commend DOST MRDC for spearheading those projects. Again, we are grateful for MRDC. Maraming salamat, and God bless us all.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. James Bernardino. I would also like to add for our media partners to better understand yung na-mention ni Dr. Ito kanina. The Buhawi is actually installed, yung prototype niya nasa Philippine Navy ship, si Heracleo Alano na ship ng Navy natin. And the purpose of the project ay para sa ating defense forces na protektado sila pag nasa line of fire yung Navy natin. So wala nang tao nakastasyon dun sa .50 caliber machine gun ng ship ng Navy. Remote control na siya. So nasa loob ng hull yung taong nagpo-control ng baril. So that's one of the technologies that was created by DOST MRDC in partnership with MRSP. So isa rin siya sa ngayon ay nasa commercialization stage na. So we would like to take this opportunity na ma-mention din yun sa mga ilalabas nyo materials for your platform. Na ang R&D na ginawa ng DOST, specifically MIRDC, ay nagagamit talaga at na-apply sa ating industries. For our next speaker, I would like to call on the Philippine Iron and Steel Industry. Naman po, we have Mr. Ronald Joel Saho, who will be presenting.
Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, actually, my presentation, or at least what I have before me, talks a little bit about, again, stages of the Industrial Revolution. So I'll skip that. I think it was mentioned a lot for us. But I'd like to, the real focus of what I'm going to talk about next week is the steel sector and our contribution, actually, the game-changing aspect of green steel. So I'll skip to the first part, the first industrial, all the way to the fourth industrial revolution. But for us, the iron and steel industry historically has been a sector based on traditional processes. With heavy reliance on labor-intensive use of resources, most might still see our industry is still lingering in the third industrial stage. However, digitalization has begun to radically transform the way this essential material in construction and heavy industry is manufactured, managed, and distributed. So you'll see here on this slide, steel is used every day in our lives for a lot of other things, many things. This is borrowed from the World Steel Association. So generally in the world, this is how steel is used. In the Philippines, if you see the blue slide, portion, percentage, as far as the world is concerned, 52% goes to building infrastructure. The Philippines is about 80% goes to building infrastructure. With today's technologies, again, we're able to increase efficiency and productivity through automation, use of data analytics and real-time monitoring of equipment and processes to allow production improvement and faster resolution of issues, reduce our costs through process optimization, predictive maintenance, and improved inventory management, including the use of digital twin technologies as mentioned earlier. Effectively reduce our waste, downtime, maintenance, and storage costs, thereby improving our cash flow. Improve product quality from advanced quality control measures to ensure consistent product quality and better traceability of both raw material and finished products.
Association. We have Mr. Dominador Eleazar, hindi lang napalitan yung picture dito sa stage.
Thank you, Kai. So let me present on behalf of the Philippine Welding Society President, Engineer Cicinande Valencia. Together with me, my Board of Trustees who is here also, Engineer Bernardo Benito, Engineer Reynaldo de la Cruz Jr., and Mr. Isidro Di Emilio. Okay. Parang nasabi na yan kanila lahat ng information. Parang, so hindi ko na dadaanan kung ano yung 4.0, ma'am? So, for the MIRDC family, PWS would like to thank you also for having this opportunity dahil sabi nga ito yung tamang platform para mabuhay, para masabi namin kung ano yung drive at kung ano yung ginagawa ng industry sa welding. So, in the Philippines, we have 6 common welding processes which is widely used here in the Philippines, like plasma, oxyacetylene, shielded metal, gas metal, flux core, and gas tungsten. So these kind of welding are known to be the traditional welding methods, was already serving the PWS or the Philippine industry for almost a decade or more than. In the Philippines, we are also doing in PWS formal training, not only for the skill of the welders, but also to upgrade the knowledge of those welding practitioners kung ano yung mga current equipment and technology that we have. So, the challenges now in the Philippines is how do we give the welding sector's upgrade. So, as we all know, TESDA is doing the training program for the welders and skill development for the deployment and employment of these kind of jobs not only locally, but also, sabi nga, mas madami pa tayong napapadala sa abroad. In 2025, we gathered what is the demand or what will be commonly tackled pagdating sa industry ng welding. So, first to mention is the automation and robotics. Actually, sabi ng mga industry sectors when we had this consultative meeting, the demand and transformation in the robotics and automation is hindi na bago, but the equipment itself focuses on the time frame production. So, existing na yung mga robotic and automation when it comes to cobots and highbots and different types of robots when it comes to use of welding. So, we have now siguro 8 years, from the 8 past years, I heard this already, yung augmented reality and virtual reality system or training system, which focuses on the enhancement, on the conveniency and cost-effective for the expenses of the consumables and more production of trainees in the time frame that we are allotting doon sa required numbers na dapat ipag-graduate in schools or employees having upgrading of these skills. Nakakatuwa kanina nung narinig ko kay Dr. Albert Auso na hindi lahat DOST ang makakasagot ng problema. So, I agree. MIRDC and the Philippine Welding Society striving hard to give and to give emphasis on what is the current status of the welding sector. So, andyan yung gumawa kami ng prototype ng mga inverted welding machines. Nag-training kami ng mga trainers para mas dumami pa yung ating mga industry partners na makakakuha ng mga expert. Kasi ngayon, kinakapos na talaga kami sa mga trainers and expert dahil alam naman natin ang skills ng mga welder, mabenta talaga. But of course, ngayon sumasabay na rin sa mga machines natin is yung smart welding system. Commonly embedded na ito sa mga machines. So dati, mga transformer type. Now, we have the inverter. But recently, the smart welding system and data connectivity are also embedded in this machine, whereas everything is in place in one common facility, one common room. Sila na yung nagpo-control during the training program. Ano yung dapat na iti-training, i-set lang nila into welding parameters dun sa isang computer. And if there are some mistakes from the trainee or from the candidate, nakikita nila kaagad kung ano ang dapat itama doon sa skill na dinedemonstrate ng isang bata or ng isang candidate. Well, hindi naman natin mayaalis na ang skill ng welder ay hindi talaga maaalis, but this kind of materials or this kind of equipments are for the enhancement and more efficiency ng production. So, I think masyadong mahaba na yung sinabi kanina. So, Ma'am Kai, ay salamat sa time. And the discussion will be continued on the 20th for the Philippine Welding Society. And doon ipapakita namin yung system of the welding technology, newest welding technology on that day. Thank you.
Thank you po, Sir Tosh. Ayan, nabanggit din Sir Tosh kanina na hindi niya pinakita yung buong presentation niya dahil he is reserving it for the industry forum. Doon niya ipapakita yung ano na ba ang smart welding dito sa ating bansa. We have the facility here at MIRDC. Kaya we look forward po, Sir Tosh, sa magiging presentation niya sa 20th. So, isa na naman pong aspeto ng technology upgrading ang mga na-mention ng ating industry association sa kanilang mga industriya. And maraming beses din po paulit-ulit kanina na sinabi nila na meron talagang challenge ang ating industries sa skilled workers. Lalo na po, ngayon na nag-upgrade na tayo ng technology, we also need to upgrade yung skilled workers natin. And tayo sa MIRDC kami po, we also hold every year ang aming skills competition for the metals and engineering industry. And we have also invited our head ng industrial training section ng MIRDC to present to us kung ano na ba ang mga nangyari sa skills competition. Kasi next week will be the awarding na survey, engineering na Cabanatuan Junior. Give us the highlights ng mga nangyari during the MSE skills competition.
Thank you, Ma'am Kat. To our guests, the different industry associations representative and officers, of course, ang aking colleague from MIRDC, headed by our Deputy Executive Directors, at lalong-lalo na po yung guests namin from the press. Pleasure, good morning po sa inyo lahat. So, this time, I will be reporting yung ating metals and engineering skills competition. So, it is the 8th M&E skills competition already. So, to start with, may konting background po. So, we all know that itong M&E week celebration was a law proclaimed last 2011. So kaya 8 po siya, 2011 up to 2015, wala pa po skills competition kaming ginanap here at MIRDC. So the role of MIRDC is to organize different trade for competition or demonstration of mga skills sa metals and engineering industries. Okay? Yung ating M&E weeks started last 2016. So the first M&E skills competition. So this was participated by 4 major industry associations. Last 2016, the PDMA and the MIA, the Philippine Diamond Associations, nag-join forces sila to have itong trade na to. So we have skills competition for mechanical drafting using SolidWorks. We have machining, that's 2 processes, the turning and the milling processes, and then yung benchboard. So kung mapupunan ninyo, medyo naka-align yung skills competition sa National Certification ng TESDA. Last 2016. For the Philippine Welding Society, medyo basic pa rin siya, pero align sa NC ng TESDA. So yung shielded metal arc welding NC1 and the shielded metal arc level NC2, that's the plate and the carbon steel type. And for Mechatronics and Robotics Society of the Philippines, we have 2 categories or 2 trades, yung Mechatronics and Robotics. So nasundan na po yun ng 2017, we participated only by 2 associations. So, almost the same trade, SMAO at saka yung Mechatronics Robotics Society. Mechatronics and Robotics. So, yung third enemy natin, medyo nagdagdag na po ng category ng Philippine Rolling Society. We included already yung gas tanks and art welding process. So, medyo nag-upgrade siya ng process of the trade. So, sa mechatronics natin, ayan, yung mechatronics and robotics pa rin ho. And this time, may 2 levels na siya, the high school and the college level for the robotics. And then 2019, before the COVID, yan, bumalik po ulit ang grupo ng MIA at saka ng PDMA. Again, mechanical drafting, at saka po yung ating machining, which is turning and milling, but this time, CNC na po siya, computer numerically controlled turning and milling processes. For Philippine Welding Society, kinunti lang po yung 2018, the SMAO and digital, and for mechatronics, we only have one mechatronics category. So as you notice, nag-skip po tayo ng 2020, 2021. Alam naman po natin that was during pandemic. Pero for the MNU celebration, I think 2021, 2022, and later part of 2020, we started already having yung tinatawag na online programs or yung webinars. So yun na lang po muna yung tinuloy namin. So yung 5th MNU Skills Competition was in the 2022. Okay? So yung 2023, so we have, again, PDMA, the mechanical drafting using SolidWorks, yung Philippine Welding Society, medyo meron sa Philippine Welding Society because yung Rotary Club of Mandaluyong and counterpart with the International Rotary Club, nag-donate dito ng mga welding machines, dinonate sa MRDC to put up yung tinatawag namin Advanced Welding and Training Center. So during the 2023 skills competition, we already included yung medyo in demand ngayon, especially sa construction at sa shipbuilding, yung flux core arc welding. So medyo, hindi mo na namin yung shielded metal arc welding, which is very common not only in the Philippines. Medyo in-invite namin yung ating mga fellows from the group of the disabled. So we call them yung differently abled persons. So we invited yung ating mga kaibigan sa Tahanang Malahatan to join yung ating welding competition. So it's not a special category, no? Sumali sila dun sa mga able person. So nakipag-compete din po sila. And for the mechatronics, we all thank you for MRSP. Tuloy-tuloy po yung ating category sa mechatronics and robotics. And last year, the same pa rin yung program natin, Philippine Diamond. Sa GMAL, we have 30 participants. Ongoing po ngayon, whole day po siya. And then yesterday, we have 12 participants. Okay, for the Philippine Diamond Association naman po, dinagdagan po natin ng software. So, the same category, mechanical drafting, pero yung usual natin SolidWorks na software, dinagdagan po natin ng NX. So, yesterday, on June 5, nagsimula po yung ating CAD using SolidWorks, participated by 12 participants, so medyo madami po din tayo. And the NX competition, gagawin din po sa venue ng office ng distributor ng NX, yung technologies, sa Cell Village, Makati. So, ayan po ay sa June 13. Okay, ito na po yung mga poster na pinalabas po ng MRDC at ng PDMA. nangyari last June 5 for the CAD using SolidWorks. And lastly, partner natin from the MRSP or the Mechatronics Robotics Society of the Philippines. So kung mapupunan ninyo, we have now the IoT. And that's the 4.0 that we discussed natin the whole morning po. So aside from Mechatronics, Robotics, meron na po ang MRSP. Actually, last year, simulan rin natin yung Internet of Things. Ang venue po dito ay sa Far Eastern University sa Manila. Ito po yung kanilang mga participants na target for the robotics. They have 16 teams. Kada team po, meron pong 3 members. For the Mechatronics, meron pong 6 na teams. Tig-5 naman po ang members ng kada team. And for the IoT, we have 5 teams. Each team meron pong 3 members. Okay, ito po yung pinakuha na poster for their opening program, competition, and sinabay na po sa kanilang convention. Okay, malapit na po matapos. Yung winners po, i-award po natin during the M&E Week celebration. So this year, magpo-fall po siya sa June 19. And sa hapon po to, I think the same day po, dito po gaganapin yung ating closing and awarding ng ating 8 M&E skills competition. Okay. Aside from the skills competition, yung usual na ginagawa ng MRTC, no? Yung offering mga pre-technical programs, mga 2 to 4 hour program. But yung usual na ginagawa natin before the pandemic, madami na po yung webinars. No? So actually, this every week, we have a total of 16 or 18. So 18 webinars. So invited po lahat po ng inyong mga kakilala kung gusto kumatin ng ating webinars, i-click lang po yung ating link sa ating website. So ang dami po nito from PDMA, PIAP, Mechatronics, MRSP, PWS, and of course yung facility ng MRTC. Okay? So I think ayan na po yung ating episode for today. Maraming sa
For our last presentation, now that we have heard yung ating mga ating guests, aside with all of this happening, si MIRDC ay nag-develop din po ng program para sa ating mga region. So hindi lang dito nangyayari ang technology upgrading, ang skills upgrading. Meron din po tayong metals and engineering innovation centers that are housed sa various regions sa ating mga state universities and colleges. So to present the highlights ng ating MEICS, we have our Deputy Executive Director for Research and Development, Dr. Agustin M. Fodoni.
Okay, good morning everyone. I will be sharing with you the highlights of one of our projects. We are proud of this project because we are creating mini MLBCs nationwide. So to start with, so MNE plays a vital and significant role in the country's growth and development. It is applied in defense and military equipment, automotive, steel manufacturing, agri-machineries, and many others including aerospace, shipbuilding and ship repair, and the like. Okay, MRDC is the forefront of the M&E industries to enhance their competitive advantage. So these are some of the technologies that we have developed here at MRDC. So, based on the Philippine Development Plan of 2023-2028 on Chapter 8, there are presented challenges for our R&D, technology and innovation. So some of these are written here. And one of these is that there is not enough R&D activities in the regions, particularly those that are very far from Manila. So with that, we have created and implemented a project on the establishment of metals and engineering innovation centers nationwide. So this is the framework of that project. It's a partnership among the state university and colleges, MRDC, and the DOST regional office. So we are establishing one metals and engineering innovation center per region. So with this, we have a funding funded by DOST, and these remaining services will include equipment and machine design, fabrication and prototyping, use of the facilities or time sharing. In this case, small M&E enterprises can make use of this equipment, skills training, and technical consultancy. So this would address the fabrication and machining of equipment and basically the design and technology acquisition and upgrade. So the objective of the project is strengthening the capabilities of regional academic institutions in the establishment of metallurgy, prototyping capabilities, human resource development, and enhance the advantages and enhance the competitive advantage of the metals and engineering industries in those regions. So far, this is the methodology of this project. We have equipment acquisition, manpower development, industry immersion, product innovation, and benchmarking. So where are we now? What have we accomplished so far? So we have established 5 already. Okay. We have a batch 1 that started in August 2020 and ended just last year. We have established 5 MAICs or MEICs in regions 1, 2, 3, CAR, and region 10. And for the second batch, which runs from August 2023 to January 2026, we are establishing 10 more. And region 4A, 4B, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, and Caraga. However, because of the developments of the Negros Island region, we will have to have a batch 3 which will address that. And of course, because of the
our Deputy Executive Director for Research and Development, are we ready with our questions? So the next part of our press conference right now is the question and answer portion. So we have here our experts on Industry 4.0, ang ating program leader, ang ating Deputy Executive Director for R&D, and our Industry Association partner. So do we have our first taker sa questions? And then yung microphone if you have questions.